All right, please welcome Sarah Gunn. How you doing? Hi. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Now you are a crafty woman. You're
am.
awesome with the DIYs, and obviously you need to have your own space dedicated to that if you really want to be able to be organized and get your projects done. So you had your own craft room that you wanted to work on.
This was our storage room, and I have to come clean here and say I probably spent a couple hours tidying that up before I took that picture. It was like an episode of Hoarders. You literally had to climb over stuff to get at anything, so it wasn't working. I'd spent half my time searching for what I needed before I could even make what I wanted to make.
Right. So you decided it was time to switch things up a little bit and do a little reno on your own space, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to show you now a look at Sarah's new crafting room. Take a look.
Welcome to my happy space. In the past, when I've been working on DIY projects, the things that stressed me out the most were where do I find everything I need, where can I create, and where am I going to store it all until I need it. So I created this room totally for me. I've got tons of storage in here. You can see these open shelves store all of my styling items, things that I need to use when I'm working on different projects, and they're really pretty and visual, which I like. Not everything I use is pretty though, so I've got tons of closed storage to hide all of the messy things that I use that I don't want to see when I'm trying to be creative because it kind of clutters my mind as well. You can see I've got the paint and the glitter up really high. It's not because I want an arm workout every time I'm reaching for them, it's because I don't want the kids to touch them. I've also got the sharp items and the toxins well out of reach. If you're looking around the room, you probably recognize it's kind of one of my signature colors. It's this beautiful fresh Irish mint by Benjamin Moore. I love how bright it makes the space. The floor is also a really nice fresh white. Some people think you can't paint linoleum, but you really can. It was a very simple thing to do, and because this room has no natural light, it makes a huge difference in how bright the space is. Now I know I'm usually a pastel kind of girl, but I went out on the edge this year and I added some red. So I picked up this chair for a steel and I spray painted it myself, and it adds a really nice pop of color. Usually people associate pegboards with guy spaces like garages, but I put an oversized one above the desk here, and it's perfect for all those items that I use on a daily basis. Now, because this is my space, I want it to be beautiful and inspirational, so I turned to my Nova Scotia roots for the art. These three pieces are by my favorite folk artist from Nova Scotia, and believe it or not, they're from a calendar that I've had for years. Good job, Sarah.
You can absolutely clap because it was that good. Oh. Talk about a major transformation. That is incredible. So one of the pieces that we really wanted to draw out of that was this pegboard. And you know, as a crafter, you want all your tools neatly organized, easily accessible. A great way to do that is to use your wall space. And it's huge.
It is huge. And you know what? I'm a very visual person. If I don't see something, I forget I own it. I'm one of those. So I like having everything out in the open, and I like having, you know, some of the more hazardous things up high away from the kids' reach as well.
For sure.
So, you know, a lot of the things that I use every day, and you can use this in lots of different ways to hang wrapping products, tools, whatever, but I like having a little inspiration up here too. So of course I had to DIY something else on here. So I just covered these letters with paper just to remind me why I'm in the space. I love DIY. And the little piece of art's kind of fun too, C'est la vie. If you're doing DIY and craft projects, you're making mistakes. It's not perfect all the time, but guess what? That's life. You just laugh it off and try again. And certainly not everything I make the first time turns out well.
No, and that's the fun of it. And I mean, the hammer, hello. You're not a real crafter unless you have one of these, okay? Can we just show a close-up of this hammer? Look at that. Oh, did you make that yourself?
No, I bought that.
You bought that?
That's I bought
so
it like
cute.
that. Yeah.
Very nice. All right, now let's show them how you can make this pegboard.
Absolutely.
So you can actually do one on your own.
Okay, so this is what it looks like when you go to Home Depot.
Yeah.
It is just like this. It comes in 2 by 4 foot sheets or 4 by 8 foot sheets. And the great thing about buying it there is they will cut it to size for you. So do your measurements before you go to the store.
Okay.
When you bring it home, you prime it and you paint it. So this one's done, and you do that before you put the frame on, okay? So I've got this one partially done for you, but that's what you want to do. And you want to paint your frame before you put it on as well. Now, normally, on the one behind us, I did the mitered cuts with the fancy trim, and I know some people are thinking that's too intimidating. So you know what? You get boards and just do straight edges. Home Depot will cut these for you too. You don't have to cut anything.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? And then
same thing with this, prime it, paint it.
Prime and paint it first, and then to attach it, it's no nails. It's easy, easy, easy.
I like the sound of that.
I know. I discovered this Gorilla Glue.
As hard as that's as hard as it gets.
I know. Yeah, that was the tricky part. And it's wood glue, and honestly, it's amazing. And you just put it on liberally, up and down the whole piece, and then you just set it in place. And then you want to weigh it down. I just got it all over my hand. That's fantastic.
It's Gorilla Glue. Watch out.
I know.
You set it in so that
Yeah,
it fits
because at
nicely,
home it
like
fit
a little.
perfectly, and that's fantastic. Because it's, I don't know why it's.
You know
not
what's
going in there
awesome?
today.
Wood expands and it gets smaller.
Yeah, it's really humid in
it
here.
gets
I don't know why it's
bigger,
big. Anyway,
whatever.
you want to weigh down the corners.
There you go.
With some books, or if you have clamps, put clamps on there.
Right.
And then it just makes it stay nice and flat.
Okay, so now you also use these very cool hooks.
Yes. So the thing about the hooks,
which
though,
makes it very fancy.
is when you put the hooks in, and let's do it sideways. You want to get those in there. You can see. I don't know if you can see on the camera. I'll tilt it another way for you. There. Oh yeah. There you go. They stick out in behind. So
Yeah.
you need to build this out from the wall. You just use these 1x2s, and again, they will cut them for you. And when you set that behind it, you screw it into the wall.
Yeah.
And then you screw the pegboard onto that. You've got that extra space to stick the hooks in, and it's also really, really sturdy because you can screw these into the studs.
Yeah.
It's going to be heavy, so it's going to give it extra support as well.
Right, and you do want it to have that extra
Yeah.
support, and especially considering what you might be putting up there.
Well, exactly.
Now, I love the fact that you went out on a limb and you painted a chair red in your space. If you know Sarah's all about the gorgeous, subtle pastels. You went red. Was that just a moment of insanity?
You know what? There's no natural light in that space. It was so dark and dreary. I just thought
Yeah.
it would brighten it up. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was a bit of a daring move for me, but I'm really happy with it. I like it.
I like it. Baby steps, honey.
I know.
Good project. Well, let's go to break. We've got more coming up. Stay with us. It looks really good.